we are back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Slurpathon. I am Leave, and I will be your host for the next little while. Joining me as our runner is Vanny with Willow. Just a quick heads up on a couple of things coming through. We do have a couple of incentives that we really want to get before the end of this run. One of them is coming up right away, just shortly into the start of the run. We've got calls for Botanda Cave. We're looking to, if I'm not mistaken, it is to save Madmartigan, and we are just like a little under $100 away from doing that. If we could get that goal, that would be great, because I don't like seeing people not be saved during any runs I'm watching.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be very sad if that doesn't get reached.
Yeah. Yeah, it's seriously, if we don't meet that incentive, then Madmartigan's blood will be on your hands, and the carnage will be unspeakable. So this is absolutely not something that can be allowed. So anyway, hi everyone. I'm Vonnie. I'm going to be running Willow here for the NES. I'll be doing the any % category, and I think I'm going to be getting started with it. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah,
okay.
If you're ready to get things going, let's get the show on the roll.
Yep. All right, so start's on control, so I'm going to hit start, and boom. There we go. Alrighty, so for those of you that might have recognized, the font on the title screen, some of the characters that they were showing there, this is indeed based off of the fantasy adventure movie from the late 80s, which is a wonderful movie. If you've never heard of it or seen it, I recommend that you do something about that. It's on Disney+, so go and watch it. Anyway, so what we're doing here is we're in our home village of Nelwyn. We're talking to the village warrior. His name is Vonkar, and he's going to give us our first sword. Now, normally in like an any % like PB attempt, you skip getting the sword here and you try and go through this next section without doing any combat. But for a little bit of marathon safety, I'm going to just get myself up to level 2, and I will explain why I'm doing that in a second. But I want some enemies to spawn here, so we want to just kind of do a little wiggle and come back, see if they come back. We didn't wiggle enough. Wiggle, wiggle. Okay, here we go. Let's see if that worked. Nope. Gotta wiggle some more. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Okay. Aha, there we go. Sorry. I wasn't wiggling hard enough. My apologies. Alright. So we want to kill these guys. We want to kill 15 enemies. That will get us to level 2. So there's 4 down. 5. 6. Oh, shoot. 7. There's going to be 3 more that are guaranteed to show up on this screen. So there's 8. Oh, stop it. 9. 10. Alright. I'll talk a little bit more about enemy spawns, and how, those kind of work with the speedrun in a minute. But right now, I want to focus on getting these kills without taking too much more damage, to be honest. Alright, so there's 14. I only need 1 more. There's going to be... So, on certain screens, enemies might appear, and on certain screens, other screens, enemies will appear. This is one of them, so that's why I didn't bother trying to get any of the other stuff, because I knew I could get that 1 kill there and move on. So, yeah, so here's another part of the marathon safety here. This is absolutely not something we do in a PB attempt. We're going to go all the way down to the southwestern corner of this village here to do an event trigger, and then we're going to come all the way back up to get a healing spell, which is going to make a couple of sections of this game a lot less scary. So that is definitely a good thing. Yes. So yeah. So a little bit more about this game. As you can probably already tell, it is very much like an action RPG. Kind of in the same vein of Zelda and all that stuff. And there's just a lot of really cool mechanics with this game. One of them is the way that you use your sword. There's 2 different attacks you can do with it. You can swing with it or you can stab with it. In order to stab, you need to be holding a direction in order to stab, whereas to swing the sword, you want the D-pad to be neutral. Now, there are going to be certain places where we will definitely want to swing as opposed to stabbing, and vice versa. So, be on the lookout for that. So here is the village elder. So what he tells us, after we had a chat with his son down in that previous house, he says that his friend Bogarda has gone missing and has been turned into a hideous monster, and he wants us to liberate him. So in order to help us with this, he gives us an item called the Heal Mace. It's a magic spell that I just equipped there, and this will allow us to heal ourselves. Now, this is why we wanted to get to level 2. In order to cast the Heal Mace spell, you need, it uses 20 MP. Your maximum MP at level 1 is only 17, so even if we got a refill, we still wouldn't have been able to use this spell, and that it kind of makes that pointless. Get on my way. So yes. Yes, this is a game, so this is what makes this game really interesting. So here's why we get the Heal Mace. We're just going to go ahead and boost through this guy instead of fighting him. We actually have to deal with another one as well. It's interesting in that it is an NES title by Capcom that is not very well known. That's a rarity. So I always love to showcase this game for that reason, because it's so well made. The graphics are great. The music is awesome. The gameplay is a lot of fun. And it's just really cool. And there's lots of fun memes and all kinds of good stuff like that. So yeah. All right. So one thing that we are going to be doing quite often in this game is Death Warp. So we're going to go ahead, hit this guy. Let's do the snake dance. Back and forth. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. So we do Death Warps for 2 reasons. The first is that usually it will take us closer to the next place that we need to go, and it saves, backtracking by walking. But the other thing that it does, and this is critical in a couple of spots, is that when you revive with full MP and HP. So that's incredibly useful in a couple of sections. So now we are going to go into the cave where Bogarda resides. That gold statue that we got right before the Death Warp, you have to give it to the skeleton in order for him to get out of the way. You have to moonwalk into the cave, otherwise your run is invalid. So we can proceed. This is good. So at the end of this cave, we're going to fight Bogarda. Even though it's the first boss fight of the game, it is by far the most complicated fight of the speedrun, and that is not an exaggeration. So I'll show you what that's all about. But anyway, we've got a little bit of walking to do here, so Maleev, if you have any donations to read, maybe a quick blurb or something like that, now would be a pretty good time.
Sounds good. I will do one more reminder for people. We are trying to raise about $85 or so to be able to save Madmartigan. We're getting really close to that point where we're just not going to be able to save them if we cannot get $85 more. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, we do have the incentive to get the, what is this called again? Debug mode, yes.
The Debug exhibition.
Yeah, and that would be really fun to see for this game.
Oh, trust me, that is something you will not want to miss. We have to, we need to make both of them happen, so please, let's get, we gotta save Madmartigan, get the money in for that, but then the Debug exhibition won't happen until after this run is completed, so, but yeah,
that needs $250, so right, if we could get some donations going.
Yeah, let's focus on Madmartigan first, please. We do not want him to be forsaken. Okay, serious time now, because here comes the Bogarda fight. I will explain some of the tech of this after I'm done. Basically, it's a deboost sorcery. Oh, okay, that was super close. So, you notice I did a combination of stabs and swings there. When I did the swing of the sword, each swing was hitting him 3 times, and it's just a great way to do really mass amounts of damage to him really quickly, especially at such a low level. We're only at level 2. That fight can actually be done at level 1. In fact, it is done at level 1 in a, in a standard, like, PB/world record attempt. So, but what the deal is that the damage that you take from body contact with Bogarda is much less than the damage you take from the axe that he throws. So we take 2 specifically timed damage boosts, such that when he throws the axe out and as it's coming back, it goes through our iframes and does no damage to us, and allows us to kill him with as little as 22 hit points. So yeah, That's what that's all about there. So now I'm on my way out, and I'm actually going to take some hugs from these hornets, because as soon as I get outside, I'm going to want to do another death warp, and that death warp is going to set us up for the next cave of the game, which is called the Matanda Cave. Once we get out of the Matanda Cave, that is going to be the cutoff for saving Madmartigan. So you don't have a whole lot longer, folks. Let's take one more touch there. Okay, perfect. Whew, that I almost put myself into a death there. So the reason why I'm not taking my death warp instantly is this. Anything that you achieve in a cave, grabbing items, killing bosses, leveling up, anything like that, it doesn't count unless you step outside. So you're going to see this happen in multiple places. That's why as soon as I got outside the cave, I took the death warp, because when you continue, then when you revive, you'll keep everything that you've done while you were in there. Whereas doing it in the cave, you would lose it all. So yeah. But for now, we are going to do a little more walking. Let me see. What else can I tell you about Willow? Well, one thing I can tell you is that business is really going to pick up in about like 10 or 12 minutes or so, because I am going to perform a pretty ridiculous glitch that's going to have multiple serious effects on the game that are going to make it a lot more quick and a lot more fun to watch. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for that. So yeah, but come on, let's get some money in to save Madmartigan. We don't want him to be neglected. So anytime you have any donations for it, you know, and if they pop up, go ahead and let me know.
Of course. As it currently stands, we do not have any received donations. I can read out a quick little blurb for you, though, if you'd like instead.
Not yet, because there's something I want to mention right about, it's this screen here. This screen here with the 4 trees. Remember this screen. It is going to be extremely important in just a few minutes. I don't want to spoil why, but I just want to throw that out there. But what we're doing here is we're stopping into this lady's house, and she says, hey, my pet bird has gone missing, and I'm afraid that he is either injured or sick. I'm going to give you these medical herbs. If you happen to run across him, give him the herbs and tell him to come home. Okay? So that's what's going on. We have herbs now. Alright. Yeah, now would be a good time for a blurb or whatever.
Alright. So, I will let people know that Slurpathon is raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. Last year, Slurpathon raised $5,699 for Extra Life, and this year, our goal is to reach $6,000, which we're actually making some pretty good progress on. We're at $3,800 right now. And we've got the rest of today and tomorrow just to get $2,200 more dollars. It's definitely within reach.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no question.
Oh, we do actually have a donation that just came in from VTN Weasley for $10.
Yo.
Thank you very much.
Very nice, thank you. Does Madmartigan appreciate that donation?
It doesn't look like there were any incentives chosen on that, though they could let us know in chat if they wanted to put that money towards saving Madmartigan.
Okay. Yeah. Just because the cutoff is going to be coming up fairly soon, so... I mean, if that is something that people want to see, you've got... You don't have much time left. So... Just saying. So this is the Matanda Cave. This is going to have... There's no boss fight in here, but there is one particular section of this cave that is, especially if you're doing a PB attempt, it is an enormous gatekeeper for these runs. So I will be sure to point that out when we get there. But one thing we do need to avoid is going to be on the next screen here. And let's see if we avoid it on the first try. We do! Okay, good. Alright, well, I won't really talk about it until we actually have to deal with it. But what we do have to deal with is coming up soon. And in fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this just to be ready. So it's going to be this section that I'm entering right here, this corridor. There's going to be 2 more just like this. Now, there's a chance that this can happen, that skeletons can appear on either side of the entrances and pin you in. Now, this last one here that I just went through, that one we really, really don't want to see them there, because that one spawns red skeletons. Red ones do double damage, so we absolutely want to avoid those. But with the Heal Mace spell that I have equipped, it makes it a lot safer. So who we're talking to here, this is Matanda. He's a big cowardly dragon. And he says, look, if you don't hurt me, I'll give you this thieves bracelet. Just leave me alone. And we're like, okay. Ooh, good. No skeletons there. How we doing here? Good. Okay. One more. Brilliant. Okay, so this corridor of the game is, in the community, we refer to this as the Hellway, because if you get trapped in too many times, it's hell trying to get past the skeletons to get them out, to get through there. If you go through there, and it is possible, I've done it several times, if you go through there, so 3 screens going in, 3 screens coming out, and you see no skeletons, we refer to that as the Heaven Way. So we came really close. We only had 1 set of skeletons appear out of 6 chances. So let's see if I time this right. Yes, perfect. Okay, good. We use the fire spell to just pin him into the corner and make life easier. Speaking of making life easier, we're going to equip the healing spell and get that going. Alrighty. So this is Poe. This is what the lady was worried about, her bird friend. Poe is going to use the herbs. He's going to be really appreciative of this, and he's going to give us a magic spell called the Ocarina. The Ocarina is essentially going to be our teleport spell. It will take us to certain places throughout the game, and we will be using this several times to cut down on lots and lots of walking. But we have to tag those places first, and I'll explain that because I'm about to do a tag coming up in just a minute here. I got a lot of walking to get out of this cave, and when I get out of here, that's the cutoff. So, do you have any donations for me?
I have an excellent donation that just came in from Alternality. It's $82.50 with the comment, Save Madmartigan.
Yeah.
So, we have definitely hit that goal now.
Is that all we needed?
That is all we needed.
Oh, fantastic. Who was that donator?
Alternality.
Yo, Alternality, big shout-outs. Thank you very much for doing that. Trust me, the public at large greatly appreciates that generosity there. Cool. All right.
I'm very happy.
Yes, indeed. All right, so we get another weapon upgrade here. We get the flame sword. Okay, let's see if we deal with him again here. Okay, so that guy, we need to wiggle and hopefully have him go away. And he does not. Got to wiggle harder. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay. Did the wiggle work? It did. All right. So that enemy that I needed to despawn there is what I refer to as a ghost enemy. There's certain types of enemies that fit into that category. There's only one specific sword that can do any damage to them, and I don't have it yet. I'm going to get it soon, but I don't have it yet. So now what's really bad about those ghouls is that if you stay on the screen with one of them long enough, they will cast a spell that turns Willow into a pig. While Willow is a pig, he can't exit the screen. So it's a big, big waste of time. This is what the Thieves Bracelet does, by the way. It makes that wall disappear. So now we can move and we can exit Matanda Cave, but we can do so knowing full well that we will be saving Madmartigan. But before we do, the wind blows, and you get this nice little whistly tune. And we got a cutscene coming up here.
Always love the good cutscene. Need more of those.
Yes. Alright. So this is the Gargantuan fairy, Cherlindria. She says, Willow, it is your prophecy to strike down Bavmorda and bring peace to the land. And in order to do so, I'm going to give you this curvy stick. Good luck. Now here's the funny thing. I refer to it as a curvy stick because right now that's basically all it is. It's the cane spell, and at the moment, it's completely useless. However, that will change dramatically as we go through the we go through the run. That's gotta be Kane! Exactly. Was it the wall doesn't disappear, you get tele- Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. It looks like it disappears, so thank you. Jiggly, shout out to Jiggly, who is someone that has helped out a lot with, especially doing some of the hacking and the technical stuff with this game. This is actually a modified ROM that I'm using that takes out a lot of the really strident flashing that happens in certain sections of the game. So what we're picking up here is a sword called the Devil Eye. This is the sword that I was just referring to that does damage to the ghost enemies, whereas no other swords will. On the flip side, the Devil Eye only does damage to ghost enemies and nothing to anyone else. Alright, so here he is. Here's Madmartigan. You see, he's all chained up, and he's very sad. We call him Sad Martigan in this state. And he says, dude, can you just, like, bail me out here? So because of that extremely generous donation that came in at the 11th hour, we are going to be doing exactly that. Taking a detour here to pick up the key. Now, because of the route that we use for this category, doing this is unnecessary, hence why it was a donation incentive. If you were doing a glitchless category or a casual playthrough, what we would be doing here would be required. Because it gives you an item called the necklace, which you could use, but the section of the game where we would use that necklace, we're going to be skipping. I don't want to spoil too much more. Get out of the way. We've got some real funky stuff coming up here in just a minute. So if you thought this run was cool so far, folks, you ain't seen nothing yet. So be sure to stay tuned. Tell a friend. Get maybe a nice frosty beverage filled up in your cup. Here we go. All right, we're going to talk to Madmartigan. He's still sad, but he's like, oh, fantastic, I'm in your debt. Take this necklace. It's made of glass. It's really cheap. Whatever. And here we go. And Madmartigan's gone. Okay. There we go. All right, now, what I'm doing now is... So I'm going to be using the Ocarina spell in just a couple minutes to go back to Poe's, we call her Po Mama, to go back to Poe's mom's house. But before we do, I just have to set foot on this screen right here. This is the bar. We never actually use the bar, but we need to tag this in order to be able to tag further waypoints. So we do this here. So we're going to go to Poe's house. For a little bit of safety, we're going to pop in to see Po Mama to get a refill, and then the funk begins. So everybody, disclaimer, warning, hold on to your butts. If you are unable to hold on to your own butt, have a family or friend do it for you, because we're just going to see that little seam in the grass there, and we're going to walk through it. We should not be here, and this screen should pretty much reinforce that, because oh my goodness, what is happening right now? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. The funk is happening. There's a lot to talk about with this. Whoops, hello. There's a lot to talk about with what we're doing here. So, yeah, this is wild. So basically what we've done is, for the moment, we've done a wrong warp. We are in the middle of a tower that's about like 2/3 of the way into the game, where we're going to pick up a couple of items that we need in order to, well, frankly, in order to beat the game. So, but we've done this way out of order. Now, I've equipped the Devil Eye here, and you see these, I call them bubble ghosts. These are ghost enemies that can only be killed with the Devil Eye. Now, if you leave them on screen long enough, they will split into two. Now, that's rude enough, but what makes it extra rude is that whenever they split, they use your MP in order to do it. It's 10 at a time. So, we want to make sure that we get rid of them as quickly as we can before they split. So, we're just going to go ahead and kill this guy. Now, those little pebbles that drop behind, those actually refill your MP. They give you 10 back per shot. So, we're actually going to be wanting these in a particular section of the game where we're going to be casting a whole lot of spells. So, up here at the top of the tower, this guy gives us the red crystal. This is going to open the gate at the bottom of this castle and give us a very necessary item. So, but first we're going to have Poe take us out. Okay, back to his house. Don't need to visit the, don't need to visit Pomama because we have full HP. So the funk, going into Funky Town was so much fun. What do you say we do it again? So we're going to bust into the side of the same tower, only this time we're going to descend the tower, as opposed to the ascent that we just did. And then when we get to the bottom of the tower, that's where that gate will be unlocked, and we can get that key item called the Crest of Spirits. There's also a really cute baby there, so, you know, that's always a crowd pleaser. So here we go. You see, they split, and they take some of my MP. Oh my god, and I also take hits, too. That is not fun. Alright, whatever. That's not a huge deal. We can always heal that up. But we gotta switch some equipment here because of a different enemy set. That can be really problematic. It's these hornets that just, you know, if they're going to appear, it's just like that, like thin air. We use the fire spell just to kind of put a ring of fire around us to protect us from any kind of intrusion. Yeah, that's another flash removal that got done. So the biggest flash removals are when you die, when the bubbles split, when you kill certain bosses, and when you cast certain spells. Like, the screen just flashes like black and white very fast. And for those who have photosensitivity issues, it's bad. There's going to be a couple places where removing the flashes wasn't possible. I'll try to remember to warn you for those. So here we have Sweet Babby. This is Alora Danon. She is the child of prophecy, and her birth and her existence is what will allow for us to bring about the downfall of the evil Bavmorda, who is the final boss of the game. So we want to protect her. She's cute. She's great. She also gives us the Crest of Spirits. We're going to need this in the final fight. Okay. So now, what you saw was really funky. Things are going to get just straight up bizarre in a second here. Before we do, I'm just looking at my HP total. I'm just going to do a little safety heal here, because I won't have an opportunity to do it in just a few seconds. I'll explain why that is. Okay, so we're going to walk into this cave. Instant boss. Very scary. No thank you. Let's see who we get instead. Even scarier skeleton face man. Okay, this is fine. There's a little invisible wall here that is going to prevent him from getting to us. So we're just going to be able to sit here and just kind of slap him around a bunch. Just slappity slap. You can't do anything. Haha. Neener neener. Just going to keep hitting him. Hit, hit, hit.
Go so
hit,
fast!
Hit, hit, hit. Hit, hit. Hit, hit, hit. And we're going to have Mercy. Now the reason why we have Mercy is, probably you notice it right now, is that the boss HUD, which is the one that is that vertical one that covers up the entire left-hand side of the screen, we're carrying that with us, as opposed to, you know, just the regular one that, you know, is just in the upper left-hand corner. This means that the boss flag for that boss is still active, okay? When you trip that boss flag... Oh, by the way, that boss is, he's a guy named General Kale. He's the second to last boss of the game. When you trip his boss flag, what it does is it gives Willow a little over 7,000 experience. We're going to go from having 1,390 experience to well over, like, 55,000 experience in the span of about a minute and a half. But it's done in this particular fashion. Oh my god. No. Oh, okay. So, alright. So this is the trickiest section of the game, I would say. Of the run, I should say. Okay, so here's what happens. What the boss wants to do is it wants to assign that... What the game wants to do, excuse me, is it wants to assign that boss flag somewhere. And what we can do is we can just take it to another screen, and it will be assigned to the first enemy that appears on the screen. So it's always going to be this... It's always going to be this fly here on the left that comes out of the middle of the left side of the screen. Every time we kill that fly, we're getting about 7,200 experience. I'm going to kill 7 of them so that we can go from level 4 to level 14 very, very, very quickly. So let's see. That's kill number 4. Now, what makes this so tricky is that you only have so much HP to deal with this, and when the boss HUD is active, you cannot cast healing spells. So, I don't have an opportunity to refill if things get hairy and I get caught up in flies and get pushed around a bunch. So that was kill number 6. There's kill number 7. So yay. We have done all the kills we need to get just an absolutely immense amount of experience. But just like I was talking about before, we need to walk outside. Reason being is that we're going to want to do a death warp real soon. But if I were to do the death warp in there with the flies before leaving, all of this experience that I earned and the levels that I gained would be all wiped away. So now you're going to hear a fanfare right about here. That tells you that you gained a level. That was for level 13. The next fanfare we hear is going to be for level 14, and as soon as we hear that, we're going to go right back into the building, right back into the room with the flies, die as quickly as we can, and then move on. Now, before I went in here and did all this stuff, my maximum HP total was 96, and my maximum MP total was, I believe, 68. So keep those numbers in mind and compare them to what you're going to see in just a few seconds here. All right, back into the fly room. Take a couple hits. There we go. There's our death. All right, now look at my totals. Both of them in the 230s. A major difference. Also a necessary one, which I'll explain in just a minute. But now the whole reason why we did that death warp was to refill those values, because in this next section we got a lot going on. So so here we go. First, let's get this on, and let's get that on, and good. All right, so here we go. Scary spiky guy, no. Back in. Skeleton face man, this is good. Only this time, we won't be so merciful. Come here, buddy. Come on. Alrighty, now. We have a tradition in the Willow community that anytime you're streaming a run attempt of this, for this next cutscene, there's series time, we go silent, because the music in here is absolutely amazing. If you have cat jams, any kind of jam emotes, you're going to want to get them ready, trust me. So we'll go silent here. I saw the cat jams, I saw the rat jams, and the sour pleases. Thank you very much for that, for paying proper respect to the national anthem of Willow. That is Zena's theme. So just to explain that cutscene real quick, that spiky boss that we kept noping out to, that was Moose. He was another person that got transformed into a monster, and then when you kill him, he gets liberated. Well, Moose had a lover named Zena, who unfortunately died, and he said, "Oh, I want to be with you," and so he kind of just dies as well, and they get to go be happy together in love in eternity. But that music is just it's so good. So we have to pay proper respect to it. So, all right. Now, we've gotten through the funk, so now we have another focus. Before we do that, there's an item I'm about to pick up that we want to be sure to talk about here. This is fleet magic that I'm getting here. This is essentially our exit spell. We're going to use this in several places to save having to walk back out of caves after grabbing stuff, meeting objectives, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here, though, with this event. Raising money for Extra Life. We're very close to 4K. Let's get there during this run. I think we can do it. And how we can do that is we can put money toward the Debug exhibition. Now, I've shown you plenty of funk throughout this run. If you want to see me turn it up to 11 after this run is over, we got to get the money in for that. So, Malief, can you tell us about where we are at for that, how much is left in order to unlock the Debug exhibition after this run?
I can definitely do that. We are currently at $60 and need $190 more to be able to obtain the debug mode for Willow. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff that I'm seeing in this game, and I want to see more of it. So if anybody could like chip in just that little bit of money, goes a long way. I will let people know as well, and this is something that's easy to forget. There are prizes based on how much you've donated. If you donate today, you get a chance to, if I'm not mistaken, yes, the Mega Man Perler no, that's Sunday. Saturday, you get a chance to win the Mad Eye Cross Stitch. It's a very lovely little friend. It would be really cool to be able to get if you enter. You just donate today. If you donate $25 or more, it looks like you've got a Moogle plush, and there's even prizes for $50 or $75. So, if you donate money, there's a chance you'll get something out of it too. So, definitely recommend making a donation, putting those incentives towards Willow to get that debug mode at the end.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. So, the cutscene that happened there while Malief was telling you about all of those wonderful prizes was me talking to the Messenger of the Earth. Her name is Finn Raziel. In order to have Willow transform her back into human form, you need to be at least level 13 when you go in to talk in that cutscene. Hence why all of that leveling is necessary. That's one of the reasons why it is. What she does in that cutscene is she powers up the cane so that it's now useful. And what it does, and you just saw me doing it there to that red skeleton, is it shoots vicious bubbles of death. These bubbles of death are the only thing that will do damage to the first phase of the final boss. So, hence why it is necessary to get the cane powered up. Alright, so what we're about to do here is... not fight the skeleton, because or the snake, because it doesn't appear. But we're going to pick up... it says it's a monster's bone. This is called the Spectre Magic. I'm going to demonstrate what the Spectre Magic does in very short order, and this spell is not only necessary in a couple sections of the game, but otherwise incredibly useful. So... here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead, equip the magic, we're going to get to the edge of the screen, and shpoop, we turn into Slimy Boy here. And we're just going to go ahead and slither our way through a good portion of this mountain as a slime, and the reason why we want to be a slime is that you may notice that as I enter all of these screens, you'll notice that no enemies are appearing, because I am one of them now, so therefore I am not a threat. So we get to just kind of glide through here. With nary a care. Now, I want to ask you all in chat. I always love to do this when I do this for marathons. You see this slime sliding along here, and certainly it makes a noise as it does so. What is the word that you would use to describe the sound that slime makes as it's moving along? Go ahead and drop it in chat, drop it in a donation comment, anything like that. That would be super awesome. Speaking of donations, we can get to them in just a second, but real quick, we're going to pop in here to talk to this lady. She's going to give us thunder magic. There's one particular section of the game where this is really useful to have, and she gives us a refill too, so we like to do it. So, we're going to be doing a decent amount of walking here. Malief, do we have any donations to read off?
I do have one that came just a little bit ago. It is already added in, and that's why we're at $190 away. Trank donated $50.
Whoa!
With the comment, debug mode, best mode, let's get there.
Nice.
So,
Thank
yeah,
you, Trank.
With
That's
that,
a huge
we are
chunk of that.
190 away.
Nice. Nice.
Please
nice,
donate.
Nice. Alrighty, so here we have what I like to refer to as Dirt Mountain. These mountain faces will appear and just throw fire at you, and they're very derpy. So now we're going to get to the edge of this screen here, and boop, we're going to turn into Slimy Boy again. And the reason why we do that is because you see these little holes in the ground. If you come into these screens and you're not Slimy Boy, they will open up, they will start to attack, and you actually can't get past them. So using the Spectre magic through this section here is required. So you have to get that magic. But there's plenty of other sections where it's nice and useful too. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. Alright, so what's going to happen in this next section here is there's going to be some of those ghost enemies that I was talking about. And in fact, while I'm talking about it, I'm going to get my Devil Eye equipped because I'm going to want to kill some of them. And the reason being, and I had mentioned it before, that when you kill the ghost enemies, they drop those little flashing pebbles that refill your MP. I'm going to need at least one of them to get through... Oh, good. Okay, I got one there. I'm going to need at least one to get through this next part of the game. I would prefer to have 3, so that I have... Oh, jeez, why am I taking all this damage? I would prefer to have 3, so that I can make things a little easier, a little safer, if I need it. So, yeah, so I already have 2, but I've taken some damage, so I might already be using that safety MP a little earlier than I intended. So yeah. Alright, we're doing a neat little trick here where we're walking in a certain pattern on the screen so that the rocks will spawn on the other side of the screen as opposed to in front of me. Ouch. Ooh, we're dropping some frames. Apologies for that. Will that stabilize us soon? I might actually want to get 5 of these petals here, just in case I need to cast a healing spell, a thunder spell. Actually, 2 of them. All right, so we're talking to Bird Boy here, and what he is going to do is he is going to give us the wing sword. Much like the curvy stick that we get from Sherlindria, at the time it is given to us, it is pretty much useless. It will get powered up a little later on, but we don't do anything with it for now. So, oh no, don't do it. Okay, good. Alright, so here we're going to demonstrate our first use of the fleet spell. We need to come in here, talk to this lady. She, is kind of like a trigger event, and then we use the fleet spell to just nope on out of here. Alright. So now we are just, please don't appear. Oh, just one hit. Okay. Oh man, we're cutting this close. We should be fine though.
If I could take a moment, we did get a donation just a few moments ago from Lil Melly Mooncat.
Yeah!
message crazy debug shenanigans. So that's another $50 that's coming into there. We are quickly closing in on that. I believe that means that we're only $140 away.
Wow, nice. Very nice. Thank you. Lil Melly is a regular on my stream, so shout outs to Lil Melly, and thank you very much for that donation, certainly. All right, so another use of the Spectre magic here to make this section nice and safe. Now, one thing that I always love here, listen when I enter the cave here as the slime. You hear the footsteps. As if you're walking in and not slurping in, or whatever it is that you would, whatever word it is that you would use to describe the sound that the slime would make otherwise. So. Alrighty. Oh, I probably should have killed that guy. I think, well, we're just gonna go with it. Frames have stabilized for now, so everybody keep your fingers crossed that it stays that way. I only dropped about 5,000. That's not a whole lot, right?
Didn't need those frames anyways.
So, into this cave here. We talk to this guy. He's like, oh, you talked to that, you talked to the old lady in the other cave who told you about the cursed bridge. Well, here, take these witch's shoes. With them, you can get across the cursed bridge. And we're like, hey, thanks. So out we go. Again, using the fleet spell because we don't need to walk back. But we want to get... Oh, no! That was bad. But here we go. And... Bleep. And that's going to make pretty much the rest of this mountain nice and safe. Now, we're going to get to a checkpoint in a little bit. There's a town that we'll get to, and if I do happen to die before I intend to, I will teleport back there as opposed to like way back. I think I go back to, I might go back. Oh, you know, I'll go back to the house where I get thunder. So that would be a huge backtrack. So hopefully we'll be fine. So yeah, this allows me to get across this bridge here. Normally it would become very wavy and give me kind of like an error messagey sounding sound. Oh, no skeletons appear there. Okay, good. So that means I can save my magic for a heal if I really, really, really need it. I don't think I will. Okay. So here we are. So now I've hit a checkpoint. We're now in the town of Tirisleen. There is a castle in this town. We're not going to enter it quite yet. We've got one thing that we want to do while we're here that's going to be a trigger event for later in the game that we might as well do while we are up here. There is a decent amount of walking here, so I'm going to leave blurbs, donations and whatnot. This would actually be a good time for it.
Of course, of course. So I will let people know that funds raised through Slurpathon go to the Alberta Children's Hospital as unrestricted funds. This means the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars raised make the biggest impact possible. We still got lots of incentives that have yet to be met, as you all are hopefully very well aware of the debug mode that is coming up. Do please donate. Add a little blurb as to where you want that money to go towards. It makes a big difference and it lets us have a lot more fun with all the things going on. Yeah.
I will say real quick, we've only got maybe about like 15 or so minutes left in this run, and basically the cutoff will be, you know, when we get to the credits. I mean, I guess we can be kind of loose with that because it's a post-run exhibition, but, you know, let's not wait too long. So how much more do we need for that, Millie?
$140.
Oh, my goodness. We can do it. We can do it, folks. And trust me, it is what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you two different debug exhibitions because, you know, we'll probably have the time. It's you won't want to miss it. It's bananas. All right, so we're taking a death warp here. This is fully intentional, I promise. And here we are back in Tearsley, and like I said, you know, if we were to die before we talk to that lady, which is the trigger event that I was talking about, we would have come back here, and it wouldn't have been that big of a time loss. But actually, the fact that we took so much damage before we got here, and I only had to take one hit to do the death blow, actually is perfect. That is, like, as ideal as it gets. So, so yeah. Alright, so into the Tearsley Castle we go. While I get all that equipped. Hopefully not see a whole lot in the way of enemies. Over 4,000. That is awesome. I'm super glad we hit that during my run. Just because I always love to see those. I always love to see those milestones and shout them out while I'm doing my thing. So, thank you everyone for that. But let's keep going because, like I said, that the more money we raise, the more these children's hospitals can use it. And especially if we raise it specifically for the debug, you get to see that really cool. All right, so here's a boss fight. This is going to be really quick. We basically just come right up to that spot and just slap it around. And then that's it. Very nice. All right, so there's some goofy stuff that happens in this next series of cutscenes here that I always like to point out. First off is this. Haha, I am Kale, the General of Nockmar. We know this is the third time we've met you. Okay. Now, here's one that's funny if you're doing an any percent run, like a PB run. Hey Willow, we meet again, even though in a world record attempt you wouldn't have rescued Madmartigan because you don't need to. But now we get to meet the real fun comic relief from the movie. These are the brownies. They are Frangine and Rule, respectively, from left to right. And what they're going to do is they're going to give you the Powder of Love. What the Powder of Love will do is it will make whoever has it thrown on them instantly fall in love with the first person that they see. And this will certainly go as planned. There won't be any sort of shenanigans or mishaps here. No, none at all. None at all. All right. What's coming up here is probably the longest just straight up walking section of the game. This is a fantastic time to talk about donation incentives, what's coming up, whatnot. You know what to do. So yeah, like I said, you probably got a good 2 minutes. The floor is yours. Go ahead and talk about whatever you need to.
All right, well, I will start this off by the ever classic way as we've been going with this, by reminding people about the $140 that we still need to get that debug showcase.
Super
We're quickly
important.
getting to the end of this run, so if anybody's got any spare change, any money that they want to spend towards anything, that would be a great incentive to go towards. We do have also the bid war between Fever and Chill. Fever Chill is currently in the lead by $25 for Dr. Mario. But otherwise, and there's of course the prizes, so donating any money means that you have a chance to win some cool stuff. If you're interested in running your own thing for Extra Life, for Children's Miracle Network, getting involved is as easy as signing up online at extralife.org, asking your friends and family to donate, and pledging to play games in support of the Children's Miracle Network Hospital of your choice. You can play from the comfort of your own home, playing any game you want. And it's generally pretty flexible too. I know I've heard about one group who started a charity fundraiser and they just went and played basketball out on the streets to raise some money. Lots of really cool stuff on that. Let's see, what else do we have? Extra Life brings together thousands of gamers around the world to play games in support of their local Children's Miracle Network hospital. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Life has raised over $70 million for sick and injured kids. Let's see. What else do we have here? I think that's most of the blurbs that I've read out during this section. That said, I could always read out another part again. Remind everybody that Slurpathon is raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation.
Alright, so this is the section of the game where we want to have the thunder magic. Because otherwise those guys would just split apart, keep draining our MP, and we don't want that. We still have plenty more spells we want to cast. Now what's nice is casting thunder costs 20 MP, but you get those pebbles back from them, and it's essentially like a refund. So, that's cool. Alright. So, we're gonna use Slimy Boy magic one more time. And we used it where we did because it makes, normally there's red skeletons that can appear here. It makes this a lot safer. But then we get to the top here, and when we get to the top, we're going to get to Nockmar Castle, and it's going to be guarded by this big scary dude in gold armor. And he's going to take a look at Slimy Us, and he's going to be like, oh no, I'm scared, and he's just going to run away. Some guard that dude is. So you need to use the Spectre magic to get into here if those dots were not connected. So this is the first dip we're gonna make into here. We just need to do something in here real quick. Go out, do a little more kind of just like item cleanup stuff, and then we'll come back into Nockmar Castle for real, and we'll beat the game.
We do have 2 donations that just came in.
Okay, real quick, let me explain what's going on here. I'm talking to the brother of the bird boy that we saw before, and what he's going to do is he's going to power up the wing sword. Now the wing sword is the most powerful sword in our arsenal. So, but now I'm just going around cleaning up stuff. Yeah, if you have donations to read off, please do that.
So we've got $10 coming in from Rougeso55. Put this towards debug mode. And then we also have another $40 coming in from David Solomon, which reads, let's see those debug shenanigans. And that means that we've got another $50 in on there, so now we are 90 away from getting that 250 goal.
Folks, I'm going to be beating this game in probably about 7 or so minutes, so if you were thinking about it, now's the time. Now is the time. We are getting very close to the end of what we're doing here, so please get that money in. You don't want to miss debug mode. It is so wild. I can't even describe what you're gonna see. So, alright, so we come in here and we get the key to Nockmar Castle. This is why we leave, because there's other doors throughout the castle that we wouldn't be able to get through until we get this. So now that we've got that, we're going to take our last Poe flight. He's going to take us to Nockmar. And speaking of, for the last time, we're going to do one more intentional death. There may be an unintentional death later on, hopefully not. But again, so this is going to teleport us one screen to the right, but really the reason why we do this is because it refills all of our hit points, magic points, all that good stuff. Now we can make our final push into Nockmar and beat the game. Also, enjoy the hot freaking jams in here. The music in this, in Nockmar Castle, is wonderful. I'm going to stay quiet because there's not a lot to say about what's going on here because I want people to enjoy the music, but if any donations come in, don't even ask. Just read them off, okay?
Sounds good. As it currently stands, we don't have anything, but as soon as I see a donation, I will let you know at the earliest moment I can.
Donations, please. Debug, please.
but I will let people know, as was brought up a little bit ago, we did just pass $4,000 during this run, which means that there's less than $2,000 to go before we hit our goal of 6,000 for this year. I think we can do it.
Nice. Alright, so just a real quick background on this cutscene here. So we see Madmartigan and this red-haired lady. This is Sorsha. She is the daughter of Bavmorda, the main antagonist of the game. We're going to try to hit her with the Powder of Love to kind of loosen her up. We're going to hit Madmartigan instead, and he's going to wax all kinds of poetic about, you know, the sun, the moon, and the stars and whatnot. And it will charm Sorsha to the point that she's like, you know what, you're right. Willow, I see what you're trying to do. Go ahead, kill my mom, it's all good, save the world. But before we can do that, look who we find ourselves face to face with here. It is General Kale for the 4th time. Now we actually have to fight him. So this could be really scary, but what we do is we just stand to his right and we just keep whipping at him. Flashing when I kill him, photosensitivity warning. That's it. We just stand to his right and just keep slapping him around with the sword, and he dies, and we get the 7,200 experience, like I said, and then we can move on. The music in this next section of the game is just phenomenal. It just feels like super heroic. Listen to this music.
I do want to read out another donation from Eris TGD. We got another $10. Throw this donation in for some debug goodness.
Yeah. Shout outs to Eris. Thank you very much. That is another regular on my channel. I'm glad to see the community coming on out to see the funk. Oh, jeez. Okay, that's fine. All right. So yeah, we're like maybe 2-3 minutes away from the credits here. So tarry not, folks. We got to get that debug in. We're getting so close.
You can smell the corruptions.
Alrighty. So once we get through this door here, we're going to be fighting the final boss here. So here she is, Bavmorda. We call her Bavi, lovingly. Now, in this first phase, you can only hit her with the cane. Now, what we want to do is very carefully position ourselves here. Those fireballs can absorb cane shots, and you only have enough MP to, at level 13 that is, to shoot without missing. We get to level 14 because it gives me a buffer of 1 there. So, first phase down. So now it's second phase of Bavmorda, which is just the same as the first, only now we can damage her with her sword. When her HP hits 0, that is time. That's it. 10109. With saving Madmartigan and Marathon strats, that is an excellent time. Oh my goodness. Heck yes. So here we are. That is Willow any percent. We have finished the game. I know you're going to tell me that some like fat miracle donation came in while I was fighting Bavmorda, and I'm gonna do debug, right? Right?
You're going to be very happy. You're going to have a nice little celebration because Omax donated $80 with the message, "Don't be Madmartigan, be Gladmartigan, and let's get that debug." So that means
that get us there?
Wait, how close are we? I think that's $15 away. Let me see. Hold on. I got a message. Let me see what the message is. 40, 35. Yeah, we're like so close. We are like $15.
$15?
I think we're... Are we done? Don't forget about the earlier ones. Duh, I read those ones out already.
Okay, we'll wait till the end of the credits, I guess. Someone wants to toss in $15, please. There are more donations? Oh. 25 above? Oh. Really? What do we got here? Somebody render a verdict. Also, while that verdict is being rendered...
Oh, I see. There's there's 3 that all came at the same time, so I must have missed 2. But yeah, we got that debug mode.
Yeah, nice. Alright, so first of all, I see a ton of GGs in the chat. Everyone, thank you all very, very much for that. I do appreciate it. Speaking of appreciation, I appreciate each and every one of you that threw a decent amount of money at getting Debug done. So I'm gonna open up my notes for this because this is some wild stuff that I'm about to do. And yeah, so here we go. So here's the credits. So I just want to make sure that you see them, you recognize them, you know what's going on. And here we go. And as is customary at the end of most Nintendo games, usually you get the end, but here it's just end. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. First of all, we're gonna get hyped. We're also gonna reset our timer. So in order to activate debug mode, I have to enter in this very specific password. Now, what I'm about to do, despite the fact that I'm going to be entering in a password here, is I am going to do a legitimate start to finish any percent run of Willow right now. Now, usually the password would make you think, okay, typically you just start from start game, and I'm technically going to be doing that, but what we're going to be doing throughout the process is just this is nutty. All right, so password is in, and okay, we got the successful sound there. All right, so here we go. So I've entered in this password. I am here in the village of Nelwyn. Say again.
If I could read out the 2 other donations that came in before.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Little Melly Mooncat did donate another $40, pushing for those shenanigans. And Little Anari also with $25 to make sure that debug mode happened.
Oh, shout out. Anari is another one that's in my community as well. Shout outs to Anari. Thank you. Listen, thank you all so much for getting this going, because I promise it's worth it. All right. So this right here is actually the screen when you start a brand new game. This is the screen where you start. And in fact, I always like to show this here. So this is Willow's family. This is Kaya, Rannon, and Mims, who are his wife, son, and daughter, all accordingly. So here, let's talk about this password I entered. And let's just look at what we're seeing here. I'm starting in the beginning village of the game. I'm at level 1. I have no swords, I have no shields, no special items, no magic. I've zero experience. I've got nothing. So you're like, okay, what's going on here? Well, what I do have is this right here. You see these two kind of pink boxes pop up, a little off center on the screen. I don't know how well you can read them. You probably can. One of them says 1C and the other one says F. These are coordinates. What this is going to allow me to do is to teleport to any screen in the game at will. All right? Now, we are going to use this to beat this game very quickly. All right? But before we do, I want to go down a real quick checklist. As I was talking about in the previous run, in order to beat the final boss, which we will be doing in a legitimate fashion, we need the cane. We need to get it powered up. In order to get it powered up, we need to be level 13. And in order to beat the second phase of Bad Mortar, we need a sword. So those things. Cane, powered up, level 13, sword. Okay? I'm going to do all of that in about 5 minutes. Alright? I will do an any percent run of this in 5 minutes. And I will go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, now. Alright. So what we've done is we've teleported into the Tirisline Castle. This is the basement. We didn't go in here because we don't need to. I'm picking up the Wonder Sword. This is the second strongest sword in the game. Okay? So, got the sword. Very good. We're going to move to about like here. And then we're going to go to B0. Alright. Now we're going to walk in here. You might recognize this. Scary spiky thing. No thanks. Go back in. General Kale. Okay. Get that sword, get that sword equipped. Let him come on down. And just like we did before, we're just gonna whip him around a bunch. Boom, 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 boom. We're gonna have mercy. Okay, now we're gonna move right about like here, I think is where we need to go. And then we're gonna go to 17 and 10. Carrying the boss flag, only now we can take it right here. We can just kill that one slime and trigger it. We're gonna do this 6 times, excuse me. And this is gonna get us the experience we need to get to level 13. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. So now I'm going to move down here, and we are going to go to 14. Oops, I went the wrong way. We're going to go to 14A. Now, you'll recognize this screen. Everything goes wavy. You don't hear the nice little flute music, unfortunately, because we are not entering the screen the way the game intends for us to. But it does trigger the cutscene all the same. And what's going to happen when we get to here is we are going to have a nice little chat with our... hello? Enormous furry friend, Sherlindra, which, if you remember from the run, she's the one who gives us the cane. Alright, so that's 2 objectives down. Well, actually, that's really 3. We've got the sword, we've got the cane, we're getting the experience to get to level 13. Remember, we have to let it run up and actually hit the levels, hear the fanfare, in order for them to actually register. Okay, now we're going to go to C... oops. This way. C6. Alright. Go ahead and take a few bumps here because we're going to set up for a death warp. I think that should be enough. Alright. Now, behind this HUD here is the door into Finn Raziel's cave. She's the one that powers up the cane. But, like I said, in order for you to power it up and have the cutscene be successful, you need to be at least level 13. So we gotta sit here and wait. The level 13 is about, like, I think it's 39,400 experience. So, we got a little bit to chill here. We're just gonna wait. That fanfare, I believe, was for level 11. This next one, right around 30,000, is 12. There it is. And then as soon as we hear the next fanfare, we're gonna walk into the cave. Almost there. Almost there. Almost. There we are. Okay. So here she is, Finn Raziel. She is a possum. Now, if you try to come in here and you're not yet level 13, then instead of turning her back into her human form, you just turn her into different animals, which, if you're familiar with the movie, is something that happens a few times there. So, that is a nice little shout-out to the movie itself, is that part of it. Nice little Easter egg, I guess. So we're going to come up here, embrace death. And then we're going to now teleport to 11-1B. And we're in Bavmorda's chamber. Here we go. We got everything we need. Alrighty. Don't forget to menu. Equip everything you've just gotten. Oh, that was super close. She threw a couple fireballs there that almost got in my way. First phase down. Yeah, look at the background here. It gets super corrupted. Oh, I did it sub 5. Nice. Okay, good. That felt like a pretty good run. And I was like, this might be sub 5, and I just barely got it. Here are your credits. There we go. Willow from beginning to finish, from beginning to end, in 5 minutes. There is a leaderboard for this, Sparko, yes. Yeah, I think it's just called Debug %. Now, so here's the thing. We beat Willow in 5 minutes. That was intense, and that was pretty nutty. So you got to be saying to yourself, oh my goodness, after seeing what I saw on the run, and now seeing this, you got to be thinking, it can't get any more wild than this, can it? What if I told you that it can? Let's re-enter our password and let's do this again, only this time, you're gonna be peeling your brains off the ceiling. So, if you're wearing a hat, maybe some kind of protective headgear, or you have some nearby, that would be a good idea. Also, if you never let go of your butt after the funk in the in the actual any percent run, maintain that grip. It will probably serve you well for what we're about to do here. Okay? So, all right. Same password. Here we go. Same thing. All right? So, let's go ahead and have a little fun with this, shall we? All right. 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay? Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me do that again. That's not quite where I wanted to go. Apologize for that. We will resume our regularly scheduled programming momentarily. Okay? Did I mess up my... No, I just looked at the wrong place. Okay, no problem. No problem. And a capital C to end it. Perfect. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, starting out just like we did before. We are grabbing the Wonder Sword. Okay. Oops, I talked to the treasure chest again. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and equip that sword, and then let's go, what are we doing here? 11. Whoops, no, wrong way. Okay, here we go. Okay. Bad Mortis Chamber. Wait, whoa, Bonnie. You're level 1. You don't even have the cane, let alone have it powered up. What are you doing? Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to take good old Bavi's boss flag, and I'm going to assign it to these slimes. Here's a cutscene between her phases. We don't even see her here. She's just way glitched out. We're going to go back to this forest here. Come on down. Fight these slimes again. And that's time. Because as soon as this is done, here are your credits. So that was Willow, beaten from beginning to end in 1.5 minutes. It can be even faster. I think the world record is like 1 minute and like 13 or 14 seconds or something. So yeah, so now, it's the same principle as what we did with General Carroll before, where we did the glitch to carry his boss flag to those blue flies, and we kept triggering his boss flag such that it would give us all that experience. It's basically the exact same thing we did here. We activated Bavmortis' boss flag, teleported to a screen where enemies would spawn, killed those enemies instead, and it trips her boss flag. So, when we get to the second phase, we've still got that boss flag, we teleport out again, kill that, boom, GG. There you go. That's it. So that's the debug mode. So, somebody was asking, like, oh, I wonder if there was something the developers put in. Probably, so that they could, like, test all the different sections of the game and go there at will. But we use it for our nefarious purposes, but not so nefarious because y'all raise a whole lot of money to make sure that I showcase this. So, for that, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you were watching here, whether you enjoyed, my commentary, the game that I was playing, a combination of those things, please do give me a follow. I play games like this, I speedrun games like this on my channel all the time, so if you want to check out more stuff like this, I would love to be able to do that for you there. So yes, Shoutouts to Slurpy Ninja for hosting this. Shoutouts to RGL TV, of which myself and Slurpy Ninja and Sparkover are staff members. We're using their, some of their equipment to do this, which is great. It's made this this event look great so far. So, y'all, the realists, I appreciate being a part of that family. And that is going to do it for me. That was Willow Any Percent done 3 ways. Thanks so much to your generosity. So, all right, I think that'll do it for me. Believe I'm going to toss it on over to you. But for everyone, thanks so much for watching. And until I see you around next time, take care, everyone.
And thank you so much, Vanny. Thank you all so much for watching. Willow, that was a really fun experience. You had a great run. I love the debug. That was so... I liked it. It was very cool.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next, we have Dr. Mario with Tetrally.
Yeah,
and we do have a bid war going on right now with Fever versus Chill. Which song do we want to hear during the run? As it currently stands, Chill has a lead of $25. So if you want to see that Fever, you're gonna have to put in a bit of money.
Yeah, I'm a Fever guy, so I'm a Chill guy, so that's the one that's slower, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But raise more money. Yes, thank you so much. Shout out to Extra Life. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.